Discuss about the anatomy and physiology for the GNM first years. So, in this we are going to discuss about the unit 7, that is digestive system. So, in the last class we have seen up to the small intestine, and now we are going to discuss about the large intestine. So, large intestine also one of the part in the digestive system, and the large intestine it is become extends from the ileocecal junction to the anus. So, ileocecal junction means where the ileum. So, ileum means there is a small intestine part. So, it is the distal end of the small intestine that is called as ileum. So, at the end part of the small intestine, that is ileum, and the cecum. So, the cecum is the starting point of the large intestine. So, starting part of the large intestine, that is cecum. So, where ileocecal junction means ileum means there is a end part of the small intestine, and the cecum means there is a starting part of the large intestine. So, that can be meet together, that is called as ileocecal junction. So, the large intestine can be start from the ileocecal junction to the anus. So, it can be extends from the ileocecal junction and it can be end at the anus. So, it is become 1.5 meters in long. So, the large intestine it is become 1.5 meters in long. So, the length of the large intestine it is 1.5 meters, and there is a some of the segments. So, the parts can be included in the large intestine, that is cecum with the vermiform appendix. So, the cecum with the vermiform appendix, vermiform appendix, and the next one is the ascending colon, and the next one is transverse colon, and the descending colon, and sigmoid colon, and the rectum, and the anal canal. So, these all parts can be involved in the large intestine. So, the parts of the large intestine it includes the cecum with vermiform appendix, and ascending colon, and the transverse colon, and descending colon, and sigmoid colon, and rectum, and anal canal. So, this is the starting part of the large intestine, that is cecum, and it can be continuous with the ascending colon. So, it is become ascending colon, and it is a transverse colon, and it is become descending colon. So, descending colon it has become curved and it can be enter into the pelvic bone, and it is called as sigmoid colon. And the next one is rectum, and the end part of the large intestine it is called as anus or anal canal. So, in the right colic flexure, so it is become right colic flexure means there is a ascending colon and the transverse colon can be joined, and there is a forms the junction. It is called as right colic flexure. Right colic flexure, it is the junction between the ascending colon and the transverse colon. It is called as right colic flexure. And next one is the left colic flexure. So, it is a junction between the descending colon and the transverse colon. So, the transverse colon and the descending colon joint and it forms the junction. It is called as left colic flexure. So, the right colic flexure and the left colic flexure. So, the right colic flexure it can be forms the junction between the ascending colon and the transverse colon, and the left colic flexure it is a junction between the descending colon and the transverse colon, that is junction it is called as left colic flexure. So, it is about the parts of the large intestine. And the next one is the first we will discuss about the cecum with vermiform appendix. So, it is the first part of the colon. So, the cecum it is the first part of the large intestine, and it is dilated region which has a blind end, and it can be continuous with the ascending colon superiorly, and there is the cecum it is the first starting part of the large intestine, and it can be continuous with the ascending colon. So, the end part of the cecum it is become blind, and it is become blunted. So, it is not sharp and it is become blind, and the cecum is the starting part of the large intestine and it is become dilated. So the cecum, it is the first part of the large intestine, it is become dilated and it can be continuous with the ascending colon. So the end part of the cecum become blind. So next one is the cecum, it can be consist of the vermiform appendix. So it is the vermiform appendix, it can be present under the cecum. And the next one is the cecum and it is become 6 centimeters in length and width of the cecum is 7.5 centimeters. So the length of the cecum is 6 centimeters and the width is 7.5 centimeters. And the next one is the ileocecal valve. So the ileocecal valve, it can be present at the junction of the ileum and the cecum. So by this valve, the lower end of the ileum can be opened into the cecum, the medial aspect of the ceco-ileal junction. So by this ileocecal valve, it can be present at the junction of the cecum and the ileum. So by this valve, the ileum can be opened into the cecum. And the next one is the appendix. So the appendix, it is a worm-like diverticulum. It is the appendix is become worm-like diverticulum and extending from the posterior medial wall of the cecum. So the appendix can be the vermiform diverticulum can be extends from the posterior medial line of the wall of the cecum. So from the posterior medial line of the cecum, the diverticulum appendix vermiform diverticulum can be extended. So the appendix, the length of the appendix is become 2 to 20 centimeters, approximately 9 centimeters, and there is a diameter, it is become 5 nanometers. So the appendix is, there is a worm-like diverticulum and extending from the posterior medial wall of the cecum. So the posterior side of the medial wall of the cecum and the appendix can be extended. And the next one is the appendicular orifice. So the orifice means opening. So it can be situated on the posterior medial aspect of the cecum. So the posterior medial aspect of the cecum, the opening can be present at the appendix. So it is called as appendicular orifice. So is a appendicular orifice. So they are situated on the posterior medial aspect of the cecum. So it can be situated on the posterior medial aspect of the cecum, that is appendicular orifice. And the next one is the ascending colon. So this is the ascending colon, it extends from the cecum. So from the cecum it can be continuous as a ascending colon to the hepatic flexure, where it curves acutely to left at the hepatic flexure to become transverse colon. So there is a cecum, ascending colon can be extended from the cecum and it can be curves as a hepatic flexure. So there is a liver can be present at the posteriorly and it continues as a transverse colon. So the ascending colon, it can be starts from the cecum and it can be continuous as a transverse colon. Ascending colon, it can be starts from the cecum and it continues as a transverse colon. So the length of the ascending colon is become 12.5 centimeters in length. And next one is the transverse colon. So the transverse colon, it can be loop of the colon. So it is a loop of colon, it is called as transverse colon, and the length of this colon is become 50 centimeters. So the transverse colon length is become 50 centimeters. It is a become loop of the colon. So it can be extends from the hepatic flexure to the splenic flexure. So hepatic flexure where the liver is present. So from the hepatic flexure to the splenic flexure where the spleen has present. So from the liver to the spleen, and there is a transverse colon can be present and it is become 50 centimeters in length. So the transverse colon is the length of this transverse colon become 50 centimeters in length. And the next one is the descending colon. So it is the descending colon, and it can be curves towards the midline after it enters into the pelvic. So the descending colon from the transverse colon, it has continuous has a descending colon. So there is some curve. So the descending colon, when it enter into the pelvic bone, and it is become has a sigmoid colon. So the transverse colon has become continuous has a descending colon, and when the descending colon it enters into the pelvis, and it is become sigmoid colon. So there is a curve can be occurred during the entering of the descending colon into the pelvis. So that this curve has called as sigmoid colon. So there is a curve, and when entering into the pelvis, the curve it is called as sigmoid colon. The curve is called as sigmoid colon, and there is it is become narrower than the descending colon. So it is become very constricted when comparing with the descending colon. There is a narrower when comparing with the descending colon. So it is about the sigmoid descending colon and sigmoid colon.